What's up guys, and we are now onto tier 3 of the Surreal Games Iceberg. It's been a bit since my last upload. I've been finishing off my final exams and stuff like that, so yeah, life has been pretty fun lately. Anyway, that doesn't matter, because I'm back. In this tier we see less of the well-known stuff, and more of the type of games that I wish I never heard of. Like, this iceberg has some pretty solid entries on it, but after a while these surreal games start to get a bit too surreal. Like, I'm not even halfway done, and my brain is just begging me to stop. You'll see what I mean as we go into it. Starting off in tier 3, we have Mario the Music Box. Mario the Music Box, also known as Mario the Music Box Classic, is a free fan-made RPG horror game created by Team Ari. The game gets most of its inspiration from other classic RPG Maker games, such as Mad Father and Corpse Party. While the game features Mario, it's not your usual Nintendo game. Despite having Mario as a playable character, the game doesn't actually take place in the Mushroom Kingdom, but in an abandoned mansion. After hearing some rumors about people disappearing from a mansion, Mario decides to investigate it. After entering the house, you find this music box playing by itself. After grabbing it out of curiosity, the front door of the house disappears and Mario gets trapped in the mansion. The whole point of the game is to get out of the mansion, while learning a bit more about the people that used to live there before they went missing. This game is literally just Corpse Party, but with Mario for some reason. Yeah, having Mario in a RPG Maker horror game definitely feels a bit surreal. The game's well known for its death scenes that are quite abundant and feature very graphic art. While it's pretty spooky and a bit surreal, I'm not too sure why it's down this far. CryptWorlds. Oof, I've been waiting to talk about this one. This game is amazing. Definitely my new favorite game from the iceberg. CryptWorlds is an adventure game by the developer Lilith Zone. We'll be seeing a lot of her games on this iceberg. In CryptWorlds, you go on a quest to save the world. Sounds pretty simple, right? Well, it isn't. When you first get into the game, you're given the goal. Find the 5 goddess relics and bring them back to the unicorn goddess so that you can defeat Dendegar, who is otherwise going to destroy the world in 50 days. Epic. The art in the game is really pretty. It uses grainy JPEG images that are placed onto objects and characters, and it has that classic nostalgic adventure game feel. The game's not too long and is really great, and it's also free, so you should definitely play it. Just a warning though, do not piss on the archaeologist. Everything is going to be okay. This game's pretty cool, but holy fuck does it hurt my eyes. This game, or should I say experience, is a collection of mini games that revolve around the theme of coping and survival. It kind of reminds me of Revenge of the Sunfish, that game I covered a few videos back. The developer describes the game as a desktop labyrinth of poetry, strange fever dream games, and broken digital spaces. It's a collection of life experiences that are largely a commentary on struggle, survival, and coping with the aftermath of surviving bad things. On the surface, it comes off as a dark comedy, and humor is a prevalent theme, but as you interact, the theme starts to unravel and facilitate what I hope to be a deeper discussion about these topics. Le Fantabulous Game and Other Egg-likes. This entry refers to the category of surreal games called egg-likes. I think like the best way to describe this genre is like walking simulators, not as good. The term egg-like refers to a game genre that features games that are egg-like. That's it. Most people recall the Fantastic game as the first egg-like game, but in actuality, according to the egg-like wiki, LSD Dream Emulator was the first egg-like. The Fantastic game is probably the most well-known egg-like, and was the first game that perfectly fitted the description of an egg-like. The game mentioned on the iceberg is Le Fantabulous, another well-known egg-like that is also known as the Quest for Sausage. The game isn't anything special, just a standard Unity walking simulator, but yeah, it is quite surreal. Bat Castle. Bat Castle is yet another RPG Maker game, where you play as this guy. Maybe he's the bat, and you walk around a castle. Maybe Bat Castle? I played a bit of it and it's really not that good. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but when you walk around, your character's sprite mirrors itself. Back in the day, I used to mess around with Unity a lot, and I'm pretty sure that like takes one line of code to fix. The sound design is not bad, and the music is pretty interesting. I literally couldn't get past the first enemy in the game, this purple ghost guy. Looking online, I was told to drink the ghost potion before fighting him, but for some reason my guy couldn't even open the potion to drink it, so I wasn't really able to experience everything that the Bat Castle had to offer. Goblet Grotto. I swear that 90% of the games on this iceberg have been played on stream by Vicesource Vinny. Like, when searching any game on this iceberg on Google, the first suggestion would be a Twitch stream of Vinny playing the said game. I don't know, maybe the creator of the iceberg just really likes Vine Souls. Goblet Grotto takes Cryptoworld's place as being the best game on this iceberg so far. This game is a masterpiece. I have no idea why I haven't played this before. I like to think that if I was going to make a game, it could be as good as this. In Goblet Grotto, you play as a frog knight guy that explores the grotto in search for goblets. While the concept is pretty simple, the game has tons of content. There's heaps of hidden areas, people to interact with, different enemies. The game is just overall really great. For some reason, while playing, these symbols kept popping up at the top of my screen and ear raping me. I'm not too sure what that was all about. Also, the frog guy is pretty cool. He makes noises every time you do stuff. Funny Pizza Land. Funny Pizza Land is quite the disturbing game. Playing this shit has kept me up at night, and I really wish I didn't learn about this game. Funny Pizza Land is described as a playable painting, and I gotta say, who the fuck paints like this? When you wanted to make a playable painting, what fucking painting were you trying to make paintable? Actually, no, I don't think I want to know that. Look at this shit. Yeah, that's surreal. Do I really need to say more? The game's not bad, and I can say that effort was put into it, unlike a lot of these entries. The game was a bit of a bitch to run, but I can't really blame it because it is from 2002. Also, there is a second Funny Pizza Land game, and it doesn't look like the inside of a homeless man's butthole. The art style is actually pretty decent. Magic Dweedoo's games. Magic Dweedoo has quite the large list of surreal games, and looking on his website, I'm getting very intrigued to play each one just to punish myself. Of course, I'm not gonna do that though, because I do have my limits. I like how BrainWormz, the iceberg creator, just described this entry as absurd games. I feel that fits perfectly. The one game of his that I did play was called The True Western Romance. I mean, just look at that thumbnail, how could I not play it? I was also tempted to play this game named Pube, but it didn't look worthy enough. After 5 minutes of playing The True Western Romance, my life had changed. I had never experienced such a gut-wrenching story. The way I play games from now on will forever be changed.
Now you better scoot on before I get Johnny Longwood onto your ass to tear you apart into parts from head to toe. Got it? Go on, scram! What are you saying? Talk louder, kid! What?
I really got to revisit this guy's games. They look amazing, and I could honestly make a whole video about this rabbit hole. This is one of those entries I talked about back in tier 1 where I said just searching the name of an entry can take you into a rabbit hole and like show you a bunch of surreal games that you never knew existed. Like the game I played said it only had 800 plays, which damn, I feel like a pioneer. Blumco's games. God, this tier's just packed with bangers, isn't it? Blumco is another guy that makes surreal games, and they're honestly on par with the ones I just mentioned. Going onto Blumco's itch.io page, we're greeted with the description, "Hello, here are a few games. I will make more games. Thank you for being here." Aww. The two games of his that I did play were Herm's Odyssey because of the thumbnail, and Burger World because I'm a morbidly obese 40-year-old that loves burgers. In Herm's Odyssey, we become Herm and go on an odyssey, something that I have always wanted to do. Cool, that's one thing off my bucket list. Move aside, Goblet Grotto, because I just found the new best surreal game. I gotta warn you before I go further because the story of Herm's Odyssey it's very emotional. After the death of your blob buddy, Herm decides to avenge his mate and visit a great wizard. I cannot believe this. How could I have been so foolish? I must visit a great wizard and avenge his death. Herm makes his way to his spaceship after leaving the chunch? What the fuck is that? Also, what is that? After we get to the spaceship, Herm presses the big button to begin his journey. While we're traveling at warp speed, we're able to eat, drink, and sleep After taking a power nap, we get to the first destination, McDonald's. Sorry, I meant to say the Intergalactic Embassy of Burgers. After going inside, oh shit, it's the guy from Smiling Friends. We see a massive lion, so while we wait for it to die down a bit, we go take a piss. Going in the bathroom, we see, oh fuck, that's not a urinal. Yes, Herm, this is impossible. How do I piss in this room? After going back in the line, some guy's burger decides to combust, blowing away all of the customers. Cool, no more line. After eating a burger, we go back to our ship and go to the next destination. After opening the ship's hatch, we see Bart Simpson buff skeleton in Adidas shorts smoking a cigarette. You know, just your normal Wednesday afternoon. Apparently he's here to kill Herm, but did you actually think that would work? Herm absolutely obliterates Evil Man into space and goes back to his ship to continue his odyssey. Going to our next destination, we reach a asteroid belt? After dodging some asteroids in a bullet hell sequence, Herm eventually crashes his ship into a giant rock hurtling towards him. After what looks like a drunk driving accident, we wake up in space prison. Only the guards are literal blobs and can't do anything about us escaping. Walking up to some other inmates, we see a green guy that says he can't leave, no arms. After hijacking this humanoid spaceship, Herm continues his odyssey until, a black hole. After getting sucked into the black hole, we end up in the tube dimension. Everything's cool though, because this is where Herm was trying to go. In the tube dimension, we find that wizard that Herm was looking for. After killing Herm with lightning, he flies to heaven, being reunited with his dead friend. God, this game is so epic! The other Blomco game I played was Burger World. It's burger day, so we better be ready to make some burgers. We gotta feed every customer, and then we'll be free. We gotta make sure we make each burg the way they want. Yada yada yada, it's Papa's Burgeria, but in space. Yep, cool, I think I got it. Alright, so we get the option to gather some ingredients before we serve the burgers. Each ingredient you gather is like its own little mini game, and they're pretty fun. Alright, so this grey tumor wants 1 cheese, 3 blood, 6 meat, and 7 egg. Oh, cool. I've already forgotten what he wants, so just have to get what I give him. Oh, he didn't like it. Alright, what does the next guy want? 1 cheese, 6 blood, 7 meat, 7 egg. Alright, I think I can remember that. Alright, cool. Here we go. Alright, that's enough of Burger World. The Museum of Everything Goes. The Museum of Everything Goes is an obscure edutainment CD-ROM project from '95 that was mostly forgotten about. The game is pretty interesting, to say the least. You play through a first-person perspective, walking around a museum, clicking on different paintings and statues to enter these pretty surreal but basic mini-games. I didn't get too far into it because, you know, I would prefer not to have a brain aneurysm.
Don't go in there. Look what happened to me.
Cool, I guess I'm going in then. Actually, never mind. Do I have to? Alright, what happens if I click this painting? Ah, cool, a gardening simulator. Alright, what else is there? Alright, that's cool, I guess. What else?
What do you want? What do you want? What do you want?
To stop playing this game, Go Home. Go Home is a third-person horror game from 2009. It's set in a residential area in early 2000s Japan. You play as a little girl with a blurred face, named Mosaiko Suzuki, who's been separated from her parents and is trying to get home. Unfortunately for her, death is merely seconds away at any given moment, as strange monsters pop out of every nook and cranny, and seemingly every turn leads to danger. You know, it's just your normal day in Ohio. While it can be somewhat comedic at times, the game is definitely disturbing more than anything. I got the description of the game from a wiki page because while playing it I had absolutely no idea what was happening. It's pretty interesting. Apparently the game was made by a Japanese VTuber called Irimatu Ichimatsu. Milk inside a bag of milk inside a bag of milk. Alright, so apart from Hylix 2 coming up, this is the last game on the iceberg that I've played prior to making this video. As we get deeper, I'll be experiencing all of these games for the first time, so forgive me if my descriptions aren't very good. This game is pretty well known, and I'm not too sure why it's down here with all this other stuff, but oh well. I got this game a bit after it came out, because the art style looked really cool, and well, it only cost $1, so for its price, I was shocked at how good it is. The game focuses around a girl with mental illness, whether it's schizophrenia, anxiety, depression, or all of the above. The way the game tells its story is really unique, and it's able to make you feel like her mental illness is your own. This game kinda hit a bit close to home. It really outlines how hard it can be to complete simple tasks without overthinking them and getting things done. Kinda like my YouTube channel. I won't spoil anything because I definitely recommend you play it. It literally costs $1 on Steam. Insert coin maze. I spent way too long trying to beat this game. Insert coin is a maze game where you control a cube in a maze. Yep, that's it. There's wrong turns you can take and obstacles that will end your game and force you to refresh the page if you want to keep playing. For some reason, after beating a level, I was able to glitch my way out of the maze. Maybe that had something to do with beating the game? I don't know, I wasn't able to beat it. I couldn't really find a guide for it either, so I kinda just gave up. You are my home. This game is a bit disturbing, to say the least. The game's plot revolves around a game cartridge that you find at your front door. You put it in your game console, cause why wouldn't you? And you're greeted by an anime girl. After some pretty personal questions, some very creepy minigames, and some one-to-one discussion, the anime girl asks you if you're home. After saying yes, she asks you to go outside your house and look for her. Because I have an IQ of 10, I did so. After clicking on the prompt confirming I did in fact look for her, she says that's the first time I've looked for her, which I mean is correct, yes, and that she has nothing else to show me. The game has a bunch of connotations towards like stalking people and entering their home. It's a bit hard to explain, but I really like the interpretation of the story by many a badass hero.
But it looks like this is a actual physical entity. This is not like, oh, it's a ghost possessing a cartridge. I'm going to assume, here's how the plot works. We have a stalker. The stalker is stalking a baby. This stuff has happened in real life before. This is a real thing that's happened to people. Stalking a baby, is obsessed with them, is going to abduct them, has been coming in their house, has been like doing all sorts of weird stuff throughout their life. You get video footage that they've recorded over the years, and somehow they've squeezed it into a game cartridge. That's one hell of a cartridge. And they've chronicled all the way from when you're a baby up till you're a little kid. I'm assuming you're now an adult, or a teenager, or at least someone older and more independent. And they've dropped this thing off to you as a way of like revealing the crime, but in like a loving way. Like look at all the things, look how dedicated I am to you.
Shao mythos. The Shao mythos, I hope that's how you say it. Also known as the John Defoe tetralogy, or the Tribly tetralogy, are a series of horror-themed freeware adventure games by Ben Yahtzee Croshaw. First released in 2003, the first game follows a gentleman thief named Trilby as he tries to burgle an old country manor, only to end up trapped inside with a bunch of other people and a lurking homicidal being. The following games jump around in space and time, though Trilby does show up again. But they all end having some link to the secret of Defoe Manor. The 4 games are in order of creation: 5 Days a Stranger, 7 Days a Skeptic, Trilby's Notes, and 6 Days a Sacrifice. These games are alright, I guess. I played a bit of the first one and it wasn't really my thing, to be honest, but they are definitely surreal. Space Kids. I'm so sad I couldn't find a way to play this. Space Kids is an MS-DOS game from 1994. It's a collection of mini-games and plays somewhat similar to WarioWare, but without the time limit. Depending on the actions taken in-game, the player can discover multiple branching paths leading to different endings. For example, in one early mini-game, the main characters slide their way down the spaceship's runway and can either land safely at the bottom or fall off, landing in a bag carried by a pirate. Just by looking at this game's art style, you can probably guess why it's on this iceberg. Just look at this moon guy. 50 Short Games. 50 Short Games is a collection of 50 short games made by the Catamites, the people or person, I don't know, that made Goblet Grotto and Space Funeral, and a bunch of other games on this iceberg. I can't believe I spent money on this game. Thanks for your help, Patreons, for letting me afford this game. 50 Short Games is just what it sounds like. A collection of 50 short and sweet hand-drawn games. Honestly, most of them aren't bad, even though a few of them are unplayable. The person that makes these games are definitely creative, I guess you could say. Cookies. This is our first entry on the iceberg that has a content warning, so yeah, we're finally getting into those games. The content warning by the creator of the iceberg is for drugs, gore, NSFW stuff, and imagery of you know, those guys that used to worship that one guy that looked like Charlie Chaplin, and they had that symbol of like the Buddhist symbol on like a red flag, and like they fought in World War II and stuff. This game is crazy good. I don't know why I haven't heard of it. Cookies follows 5 different short stories, presented in the form of a VHS-styled PS1 game. Playing Cookies, it's really clear that it takes a bunch of inspiration from classic horror titles, such as Candyman and Twin Peaks. The game covers everything from gang violence to drug abuse and all that nice stuff. It has a bunch of satanic cult imagery, and it's done pretty well. I definitely recommend Cookies. I mean, it literally costs nothing to play. Just don't forget about that content warning. Pennsylvania/Gigglebone Gang Games. The Gigglebone Gang games are a series of edutainment CD-ROM games from the mid-90s. The first game in the series was the Gigglebone Gang, Pennsylvania. These games are just your standard edutainment games from the 90s, except for one thing: surrealism. These games are just plain weird. I have no idea how someone playing this as a kid was meant to learn anything from it. If anything, it just makes my head hurt. Damn, I've been saying that a lot lately, haven't I? And this is only tier 3. Serial Experiments Lane. Serial Experiments Lane is a game made for the PS1 back in '98, based on the anime from the same name. If you've seen the anime, you can probably tell why this game is on the iceberg. The game is super weird. While I haven't seen the anime, I briefly know what it's about. From what I hear, the game is an adaptation, and it takes place in its own canon from the anime. The game's pretty unique. It's presented in a way that kind of feels similar to analog horror. Like, you constantly flash images and showing different footage and stuff to piece the story together. It looks pretty interesting, but I might watch the series before I play it. Mitosa. Mitosa is a fun little game. I think the name is a play on words of mitosis, because life, biology, and evolution and stuff. I don't know, I dropped out of biology class after the first year. In Mitosa, you're confronted with a seed in a dark room. Oh my god, no way. You're able to transform the seed into different things by choosing 2 different options. From there, you make more choices, trying not to get sent back to the start, and you end up with some, surreal imagery, I guess you could call it. I didn't beat the game because, well, I'm a dumbass. The game has a really cool Adobe Flash player style that's pretty nostalgic. Brings me back to the Newgrounds days. I mean, apparently it's from 2011 and was ported onto Steam just recently, so yeah, if you want to play it, go do it. It's free. Alright, so that's it for this video. We're slowly but surely making our way through the list, one game at a time. Just thought I'd point out that so far we're just over a quarter through, so expect a lot more videos. This iceberg has really made me appreciate surrealism as a genre of media, and while I take the piss out of a lot of these games, I have to say, it's been really fun playing them. I'm sorry about the gap in uploads recently. I've been doing my final exams and finishing high school and all that stuff. I can ensure that once I'm graduated, I'm gonna be on that YouTube grind as much as I can. Before I end the video, I want to thank all of you guys for your support. We recently reached 2,000 subscribers out of nowhere, which is unbelievable. I literally cannot fathom that high of a number. Like, I can't even count to 2,000. That's how high it is. I know it sounds a bit cheesy and stuff, but I can't thank you guys enough for watching my videos. The feeling of just one person watching my video that I spent days making and enjoying it really makes it all worth it. Can't thank you enough. Seriously. I also want to thank my Patreons. Your contributions and continued support really means more to me than you could ever imagine. Thank you Bunny Walk, thank you Too Funny Too Cool, and thank you Gage Mendon. Thanks for making it to the end, and I will see you guys in the next one.